sorry. I'm sorry.
This is Uneducated Sports Talk. Stay smart, stay uneducated.
Welcome all sports fans and everyone across the nation. This is Tuesdays with TJ, episode number 36, presented by Uneducated Sports Talk. I'm your host, Carlos Clayton, and to my right, the main man, the myth, the legend, Mr. TJ Tracy. What's up, TJ?
I am doing well, fantastic. Thank you very much. How are you? You enjoying those hot Louisiana summer days?
You see my face right now, huh? I'm telling you, Neapolitan ice cream, man. I'm telling you, it's crazy. My eyes are getting better now that I'm in the office a lot more lately. It's not as white anymore because I'm not outside as much. So I'm trying to get the color back. they, they said I had the chocolate forehead, the vanilla eyes, and then I had the strawberry cheeks, man. So yeah, I'm rocking that Neapolitan ice cream hard, but it's getting better though.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I never heard.
But yeah, this is episode 36. We got a good one for you guys. Uh, do us all a favor, hit that like button for your boys. We appreciate that. There is no PJ right now. She's sleeping. She will be live for our next stream right after this, you guys. We're going live for WNBA action between the Indiana Fever and the Las Vegas Aces. Caitlin Clark taking on Asia Wilson. So we'll be live right after Tuesdays with TJ. So kick it right here with Uneducated Sports Talk, man. But episode 36. This is awesome, bro. And it's always a pleasure to be with you, TJ, to do this every single Tuesday, or we try to do it every Tuesday, man. So how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Again, thank you very much for letting me do this show. Very much appreciate it. But yeah, it's we're almost there. Next week, I think it's next week, they return. Practice starts. So
Hey,
we're almost back to football. Are you ready for football? Are you?
this the first year I haven't really been craving. Don't get it
No?
twisted. I love football. We all love it's still the king of all sports, but this the first year I've really said, you know what? I'm not craving it. I'm not fiending. I'm not like, yeah,
Wow.
I'm not. Maybe because my Saints suck is for a while now, so I don't know. It could be that. it just could be because I'm into so many more. I'm really into baseball lately. I'm really into the WNBA. So that's kind of holding me over till football season. I'm not like, because, prior, although I'm a sports guy, I wasn't really heavy watching baseball or heavy watching the WNBA. So now I kind of am. So it's kind of keeping my attention.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I know. I have been craving NFL so much so that me and the brother-in-law went to investigate the Colchester Guardians that I discovered last week. We went to one of their games on Sunday, and
What game is this? The who?
so last week I fell down a rabbit hole of the British Football League.
Yes.
Yeah. I discovered that my local team, the Colchester Guardians, well, I say local team, they're about 45-minute drive, was playing this Sunday. So I went to the brother-in-law, do you want to go? He's like, yeah, why not? So
Well, how was it?
it was fun. It was fun. It was an amateur team, so obviously there was a lot of interceptions, a couple of fumbles, but it's still fun. The Guardians won. They're still undefeated, but they didn't have a scoreboard, electronic scoreboard or a timer, so you just sort of got to
Just kind of knew.
learn by the whistle. Yeah, but it
They
is
at
very
least had like the
amateur.
cardboard or something. Someone holding the cardboard.
It was a cardboard, but no one held it up. It was just, we noticed it right at the end of the game, a tiny little thing just at the bottom of the pitch.
That's real amateur.
But
Are these older guys? Are they like older? Are they like of age?
they're older. It
Okay.
is clearly just like a hobby sort of sport
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
we drove there. We got out. We're like, oh, it's a decent crowd. Then walked up to the pitch and realised there's no chairs.
Damn.
We didn't bring any, so we then had to stand for 3.5 hours
What?
going, we're going to come next time, but we're going to bring couches.
Yeah, just come prepared next time. Hey,
Yeah,
now you know. Now you know. Well, that's awesome.
now we know.
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
The shoulder pads and everything, helmets.
Shoulder pads,
Oh yeah,
helmets.
they were getting it in.
Yeah,
All right, I'm
we
done
hit
with
him.
that.
we had a couple of injuries. A guy did break his arm during it, so that was a bit
Damn.
gruesome. But no, it was the crowd going it as well. So yeah, it wasn't like a awful little thing. People were going for it, and it was fun. It was fun. So we got 21st, I think, is the next time we're playing. We're gonna go in
Oh, that's
with some
awesome.
camp chairs, a cooler full of beers. So yeah,
So that's almost like our semi-pro teams out here across the United States. We have a lot of semi-pro teams, guys
yeah,
that are, it's a nice hobby. They're getting paid nickels and dimes to do this, but it's something that they love to do. So that's dope. That's awesome. I didn't know,
yeah,
it was all out there. That's awesome.
yeah. No, it is. It's yeah, like I said, very amateur, but it's growing. They've got sponsors and stuff like that. So, and they've clinched their number 1 seed in their division.
Oh,
So,
let's go. Let's go. We got some folks in the chat right now. TJ, we got Kelly Gardner says, "Go Packers, go." What's up, Kelly?
ooh,
Good to see you. Got
so
Samuel Wilkinson Jr. He's back. He says, "Well, back. We'll be back soon." All right. Yes, sir. He says, "Hi, Carlos and TJ. What's good with it, man?"
hi, Samuel.
Got generic Ballman. So hope all are well. What up, Carlos, TJ, and PJ? But she's unfortunately sleeping right now, so you guys will see her later on tonight. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights says, "Hey everyone, how you doing, Daniel?" I got
What's up, Daniel?
the beautiful Christian Rouge says, "Good evening, USC Nation, y'all. Come on and hit that like button, smash that share button, and do the Dougie on the subscribe button for the best USC Nation." That's right, doing the Dougie. I got
Hey, man.
Dan McKeon, our first moderators in the building. He says a double header tonight. That's right, you guys. I am going live after this for WNBA action between the Fever and the Aces. So stay tuned for that. And of course, we got Infinity Productions. So what's up, Carlos and TJ? I'm voting 4-8 wins for the Saints. I'm glad you said that, y'all. Our poll is in there right now, and the poll is, how many wins do you expect for your team? I got 0 to 3, 4 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 17. So hit that and let me know why. Infinity, why you got the Saints going 4-8, man? But let me know in the chat why you have your team going for that particular win. So I got Emmett Schleppenbach says hello from Facebook. What's up, Emmett? Good to see you, my guy.
Hey, man.
All right, and that's right, y'all. We are live once again, multi-streaming via Facebook, YouTube, and of course Twitter, aka X. We got it all going. So thank you all for showing love from all across social media, man. Hey, also represent your team. We got at the bottom of our screen. Rep your team right now. I don't care what team it is in the NFL. Represent your team. It doesn't matter unless you're a Panthers fan. Then probably don't say that. All right. Well, let's get on with our first subject, our first topic for the day, man. And we're going to kick it with the AFC West and talk about a familiar name. He won a national championship last year with the Michigan Wolverines. And now he is boot scooting onto the NFL side, the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, Jim Harbaugh. Let's break it down and let's talk about the real expectations from this team. They have their quarterback in Herbert. Silly, silly, silly for those thinking that McCarthy for some reason was going to the Chargers. Jim is crazy. He ain't stupid. Uh, and, and then they lost Austin Eckler, but
Mhm.
they lost Keenan Allen, but they still have some nice pieces. They still have that offense. And when you got a quarterback in Herbert, anything is possible. I'm pretty sure they leaning more towards defense with Jim Harbaugh, and of course O line. He is a guru at the running game. He is focusing more and more on running, running, running. But it's easier said than done. How do you feel about Jim Harbaugh and this Los Angeles Chargers team for this particular season?
I feel good. It's going to be interesting. Let me just say that because uh, Justin Herbert is obviously very good. He's very good through the air, but Jim Harbaugh's obviously a more ground and pound kind of sounded wrong, kind of coach. Because that's won the national championship. So I'm going to view very interesting. I still think it's good. Like he's going to be a lot better than Staley. I believe it was Staley,
Hmm.
the defensive guru who was terrible at defense. So I feel they're in a better position. I think it's going to get some time getting used to. But yeah, like they're in a lot better situation than what they were last year, even with the players they lost because their head coach is not an idiot.
No, no. I agree on the fact is that they will be a lot better mentally. Um, as far as play calling, they're gonna quote unquote, you know, kiss, keep it stupid simple. He said he is a man of the people, as in the O line and the D line, and we'd like to see that the trenches of the NFL. Now, it looks good in college because you have a dynamic team in
Mhm.
Michigan that was known for running that football, and they ran it a lot and very successful over the last couple of years under Jim Harbaugh. That just doesn't translate into the NFL unless you force it. Now, here's my thing. If you force it, and I have no clue who the running back is, I could be wrong and just thinking that it's somebody else
Let's
that's
have a
check.
look, shall we?
Who is the running back? I know Eckler is gone. Are they keeping with the same, not Kelly, but the other one besides Kelly? And Infinity says, I hate to say it, but Derek Carr is a bum. That's why you say 4 to 8 wins. I gotcha. Chris Nash says, TJ, can you hit the Dougie?
What's the Dougie?
It's a damn. Just say no, TJ. Just say no.
Unfortunately, I have been advised by my lawyer to deny. So I'm going to say no. So they currently have obviously a bunch of running backs. Two that I kind of know. Both the main two are both questionable. Got Gus Edwards,
Oh,
who's
Gus
questionable,
Edwards. Yeah, he'll be back
and
though. They're-
J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, yeah. Damn, they got J.K. Dobbins.
I got J.K.
Well,
Dobbins.
if those two come in pretty healthy, I like that. Okay, well that kind of changes my mentality. If they both now they're both known for being injury prone, a la the
Yeah, yeah.
Ravens running backs have been like that, and now they become now the Chargers running backs. Maybe their luck and their fortunes change because of different teams. Got Kelly Gardner says, "Hello, gentlemen. What is up, Kelly? How you doing, brother? Always
Hi,
good to
Kelly.
see you." Says go Pack go. But yeah, so as far as the ground and pound mentality that Harbaugh is going to bring, well, there you go. Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, the two very physical backs. Dobbins being the
Hmm.
smaller one, but still very physical. And Gus Edwards is known for his just physicality all day. So I do like that, especially if you're going to go ahead. He drafted Alt, from where he come from? Was it Notre Dame? I forgot already where he came from, but
Yeah, I think it was Notre Dame.
they got Joe Alt, the best lineman we think from this year's draft, and he's going to be a stud.
Let's
We
have a
imagine.
look.
I like the fact that
Notre Dame, yeah.
yeah, so I like the fact that they'll go ground and pound, and of course you have Herbert at his best as a top five quarterback in today's NFL. So third and short, which you want Herbert in, you want him in those third and fours, third and threes, instead of those constantly third and longs. He was in third and nine. It felt like all year, and having to put a lot of pressure and on him to make a play when and when it really wasn't a lot of time. Third and nine in the field is third and nine for a reason. You don't want to be in that situation. So we saw a lot of that. But yeah, Jim Harbaugh calling the shots. Do you think realistically is there a realistic playoff expectation for this team right now? Year one under Jim Harbaugh.
I'm going to say no, simply because their division. Like
Oh
they're going to have to get past the Chiefs. They're going to have to get obviously past the Broncos. I know the Broncos aren't a major contender, but they're still going to be a pain in the butt. And then obviously Vegas. I don't know about Vegas. Vegas is one of those weird teams. Like sometimes they suck, and then sometimes they. I think they dropped 70, almost 70 on the Chargers last year.
yeah, that was bad.
So
That
yeah,
was that was the last we saw of Staley.
yeah. So the main task is the AFC is so just hard at the moment. Like all the good QBs are in the AFC. They're going to have to get through so much competition. So I'm going to say I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
I think obviously their expectations is playoffs.
Yeah.
I really think Chargers Nation. I'm not really asking that. I'm not really asking if they're going to make the playoffs or not. But as far as Chargers fans, do you think the expectations is playoffs this year? I think it is. You bring in a caliber head coach of Jim Harbaugh, who's had success in the NFL with the 49ers back in the day, and you saw what he did in Michigan. You saw now the expectations of having a top five quarterback in Justin Herbert with the additions of that running game, and now you're thinking smash mouth and you're talking a good talk. Can you bring that defense, which looks good on paper, but they've been sucking? might be a Brandon Staley thing. I think there is an expectation among at least Chargers fans of at least going to the playoffs. When you say 7 teams in each conference, the Chargers have got to believe we got to be the top 7 teams, right? Can we do that? Now you're right though. The division itself with the Chiefs, in that division, that's always going to be a tough thing. So I'm not necessarily thinking obviously they're not going to win the division in my opinion, but wild card. I mean, one of those freaking 3 seeds. I think expectations for the Chargers is playoffs. We got to because we got everything they went in front of us. There's no more Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler where you have a force to those guys. It feels like maybe Herbert can go out there and just wing it to whoever's open now. You want him to kind of be free when he throws that football. That might have been a reason why Harbaugh got rid of those guys. And they're a little bit older as well. And probably cost a pretty penny. And Harbaugh's like, nah, nah. So in finishes, I don't think the Chargers have fans. And he said Jim Harbaugh stole all his brother's running backs. I didn't even think about that. That is funny. he, just, he stole his brother's running backs. They always had some conversations between each other about, hey, get those guys. They're good. Yada, yada, yada.
So I just went on to the ESPN ranking. They have the Chargers, only AFC teams, as the ninth best NFC team. Because obviously you've got Kansas City number one. Then they have Ravens, Bills, Bengals, Texans, Jets, Jaguars, Browns, Dolphins, and the 10th best NFC team.
Okay,
AFC team.
okay. And, I mean, the Jets are still on the fence for me. We'll find out about them. Jaguars also on the fence too. I think the Chargers could leapfrog
Fair.
those two, but you never know. That's why we play the games. Every year is different, and it'll be awesome to see Herbert kind of lead his team. Now, will they make it? I'm probably saying no, just from the top of my head, probably saying no. But as far as expectations from around the league, I think the Chargers are looking to be one of those playoff teams. We'll find out though, man.
Fair enough.
That's why we play the freaking game. You guys represent your team. As far as Herbert, do you think in those losses were on him last year? Quick. Do you think does he have to get better? In my opinion, this
I'm
year.
going to say I don't think he does.
Okay.
We've seen here that he is the only person wanting to win that game. Again, I know it's a couple of years ago, but him making all those fourth down plays against Las Vegas, phenomenal. And he was still making plays last year. Obviously, his main targets were injured, and Quinton Johnson. I know that they were. I think he was a first round pick
First round pick.
last
Yeah.
year.
Did nothing
Yeah,
last
was
year for them.
disappointment, utterly
Yep.
disappointment, and he dropped a lot of things. I know. So this is their wide receivers. You've got Joshua Palmer, Quinton Johnson, Lads McCockney, which is obviously a rookie,
Yes.
DJ Chalk, and then a bunch of other. I think it says here they got Brendan Rice, which I believe is Rice's
Jerry Rice's son.
Jerry's son. Yeah, so it'd be
So
interesting
hey,
how he does.
you never know. And he was supposed to be a fourth round pick or fifth round pick. He slid all the way to 7. I don't know why, because I didn't hear any character issues at all. So, but Jerry Rice did say his son has a chip on his shoulder because he should have been in the 7th round. He was more for fifth, fourth or fifth, but we'll see. I got the
Yeah.
Keep It a Real Who That Sports podcast in the building. Said, my brothers, how you doing? PJ, my sister, much love. That's right. PJ is asleep right now. But should be on for our doubleheader for tonight, you guys. What up? What up? Dog 17 is in the building. If you guys are not, man, subscribe to the Keep It Real Who That Sports podcast, and also subscribe to the Come On In Sports Network, featuring
Mhm.
myself. And we've got Real Fan Sports with Zach and Nonfiction. And of course, we have the Keep It Real Who That Sports podcast with Coach Rock and Dog 17, the Come On In Sports Network, y'all. So check that out. Hope you guys are having a great time. This is our talk about the Chargers and realistic expectations for this team, especially from our point of view, and of course the Chargers fans, the very little they have, but their point of view as well. So if you guys want to hear that conversation, just go back a little bit, about 15 minutes in, and then we're going to break it all down. All right, let's keep it with the AFC, my brother, and we'll go ahead and talk about the New England Patriots, man. Uh, Before we get started, I got 42 said hike. Says hello USC. Just found one on my vid between Dude Perfect and That's Amazing when I searched up homemade trick shots. Hey, let's go.
Nice.
Says it's the 14th
That's
like
really
as well.
cool.
Yeah, I like Dude Perfect, man. They're crazy. They do a lot of crazy stuff, but it works for them. I don't know why or how, but it works. I think sometimes they be kind of like faking it, but that's just my opinion.
Ooh, controversial on here.
But that's just me. That's just me. All right, hold on. Going back to Jim Harbaugh, and we got a question from Keeping It Real Who That Sports Podcast. He says, if Chargers make playoffs, which 2023 playoff team does not make it this year? That's a good
Oh,
question.
that's a question. That is a very good question. Who do you think?
Uh,
Do you want me to read out who made the 2022 playoffs or 2023
yeah, I
playoffs?
mean, you have the Chiefs, Ravens. Obviously, you have the Texans, Browns, Dolphins. Uh, did the Steelers make it? I don't think the Steelers made it, huh? Or were they the seventh seed?
Hold on. I've completely typed it in completely wrong. I've
I don't
gotten
think
some
Steelers
weird
made it
things.
though.
um, so 2023 to 2024 playoff bracket. So we had Houston, Cleveland, KC, Miami, Buffalo, Pittsburgh with Baltimore.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
You want me to
I,
say Pitts?
if they make it, it's probably Pittsburgh out. Depending on.
Really?
Yeah, I would hate to say that. Pittsburgh's always in the running, but usually those teams are you know usually those teams like they go 9-8 every year, but it's always mumbo jumbo in the mix things. That's hey, are you 9-8 good enough or 9-8 just out the playoffs, right? And it could
That's
be
true.
so. So if the Chargers do make it, maybe Pittsburgh or even I'm gonna say hey Buffalo. I don't like what I see from Buffalo right now, but that is just me. 42
Yeah.
says Charter's going to be between 5 and 7 wins with no great receivers. All right, Keeping It Real says Colts or the Browns. I don't think the Colts made the playoffs last year, but still, they lost that
They
game
still
against the
suck.
Texans. Yeah, so they missed the playoffs by that much. But still, that the Colts could sneak in. Depending on what Anthony Richardson does for them if he can stay healthy. And of course,
Uh,
the Browns, I like the Browns. Look, I love the Browns. I love the defense. I love Deshaun Watson if he's healthy. Obviously, I like them
yeah.
going back to the playoffs with their running game. If Nick Chubb comes back, if he's even 95% of what he was last year, instead of 100%, I like the Browns anyways. Just because their defense and Deshaun Watson, a healthy Watson to make plays. So we'll find out.
So yeah, I think if I think Pittsburgh is the likeliest not to make it. They made 10-7 last year, but I don't think they're going to be kicked out because of the Chargers. I think more likely the Bengals are the one that's going to
Yeah,
kick them out.
yeah, and you got to think Bengals will be there again this year. No, hopefully, like I said, all this depends on the health, right? With a lot of these teams, especially the quarterback
Yeah, yeah.
position. And if Joe Burrow, who's obviously top three quarterback when healthy, yeah, I mean, you got to think Browns. I mean, the Bengals are back in this thing again too, so we'll see. But let's talk about the New England Patriots, and
Oh yeah,
I felt like talking about them because let's be honest, we all at one point just could not stand New England, and including myself. I hated the Patriots just because they won so much, and probably a lot of those scandals happened, which I didn't like the scandals as well. And I'm also a hater because same thing happened with the Saints, and we got our coach kicked out for a whole year for hitting people too hard, and when Belichick cheated and nothing happened to him. So that's probably why I was very, very, very mad and salty about New England for all these years. But they're gone now, right? No more Belichick, no
Mhm.
more Tom
No,
Brady, right?
nope.
No more Gronkowski. It's just a different team. We see now the Brady-less years without for the Patriots. The first year made the playoffs, but since then they've just gone down and down and down, looking very, very bad the last couple of years. Now, Patriots fans, you got Gerard Mayo coming up as your new head coach. And
Yeah,
I like the fact I heard the first thing they did when he was the head coach, everything inside the building, right? All the quotes and all the sayings, yada yada yada. They took it down, Everything
Oh,
they had on there, they take it down. We are a new, which is a new generation of Patriot playing now. The last couple years, obviously, Mac Jones was not that dude for New England. They have now put their faith into Drake Mayer, who I'm hearing right now isn't looking quite good at the
no.
moment, but you never know. Training camp does start next week, so we'll see how things rock and roll with Drake Mayer as well. But there's also Jacoby Brissett, who is a proven not only backup but a caliber starting quarterback for New England. And one thing they do have, TJ, they still had that same defense. You
I
know,
do.
that let's be honest, when they play against inferior teams, they mollywop them. When they play against inferior offenses, they really let you know this offense is not good. It's only when they played a really good offense where they tend to look mediocre or even struggle. But boy, when they play less tier teams, boy, they mollywop some teams on freaking defense. So they have that going for them. How can New England bounce back and get back to their winning ways? And what is and a two-part question: how do they bounce back to their winning ways? And what is an actual successful season this year for New England?
Ooh, I know a lot of the fans are hoping to have like a Houston Texan season, like come out of nowhere and surprise everyone. I don't see that coming. I know Mayo is apparently the Bill Belichick's protege, like they had it written in his contract that he was the next head coach and all that. So maybe he's had these years to understand and coach, but clearly Bill Belichick's system wasn't working in the modern NFL. But what I like is he has taken stuff down. He hasn't kept the Bill Belichick coaches. He's brought his own coaches in, so he's shuffling things up. So I think it's going to take a couple of years. I know their defense is there. Obviously, Gonzalez is coming off an ACL. I think it was Achilles or an ACL.
One of those, yeah, you're right.
One of those, and he was doing very well
Yes.
before the injury, so that would always help. It is all dependent on obviously they need O line help, wide receivers, and obviously what QB they're going to do because obviously Bridgewater is a good QB, but he's not going to be your future. So you're going to hope he may learns behind it. So I'm just curious about what their um, wide receivers looking like because obviously they drafted Strange in the first round a couple of days ago, and that never turned out, did it? He's mainly been injured. So I think they had a good draft this year. So even then, I think middle of the pack is a good season for them.
Mm.
After a couple of years of being awful, like so, this is their wide receiver. We've got Kendrick Bourne, who's questionable, Demario Douglas, Jalen Pollock, which I think is a rookie, KJ Osborne, Juju Smith Schuster, who got a lot of money and really didn't do anything last year. Uh, their Titans, Hunter Henry, which I know, well, Mac Jones liked him, and Austin Hooper. So Juju is their fifth on their depth chart.
I
Um,
can't, don't pay attention to the depth charts right now. He's there. He's probably number one or two, honestly.
so yeah, I reckon middle of the pack season is a successful season for them. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, and as Keeping It Real says, Coach Mayo must build the foundation and set his culture.
Mhm.
Must get team leaders to buy in first, and I agree with that. Uh, that being said, saying that means it's going to take a couple years, like you said earlier, TJ, to have that winning way. This team, especially on offense, isn't built right? At least with the Texans, you saw some strides of Nico Collins. You knew what Tank Dell could do as well. You knew
Yeah,
that you saw what they could be. This particular squad here in New England, especially receiving core, you don't see it yet. I don't know where they get this sort of burst of offense, right? You got to lean into the running game, lean into your defense once again, and just pray that your quarterback can be a game manager no matter who it is, whether it's Drake May or Jacoby Brissett, right? But you do know Brissett is going to be the bridge quarterback who eventually is going to be Drake May. If I'm the Patriots, I don't start Drake May right now. I really don't.
No,
I
absolutely
go
not.
with the best chance of winning, unless May go out there and just has a crazy training camp. Then okay, that's different. But if he's still kind of neck and neck with Brissett, you start the veteran quarterback who has the best chance of getting you a few wins here and there. I think a very successful season. And call me crazy, 6 wins. If they can get
6 wins?
if they can get 6 wins, I think personally, me, that is a great season for them because what we see on paper, this team is not good. They're not good. Set their defense is not what they used to be, but it's still their catalyst, and they have still can win you some games against inferior opponents offensively from their defense. But unless their quarterback Drake May, because Brissett is going to give you what he's going to give you. Brissett is going to give you, he could probably win you one game this year by himself, but he's going to be a team collective guy, a game manager. If he can just not turn the ball over, hold on to that football, and keep them in games and keep that defense intact as well, they'll have a chance to win 6 to 8 wins. Honestly, is a great year. Anything else is a bonus for the Patriots, but they've got to find a way to get their offense back on track. And Mayo is not crazy. He knows that. He knows that. But let's be honest. When you look at free agency, and this is where Bill Belichick really made his way. One, you had Tom Brady, so Tom Brady made everyone look good. You don't have that
Yep.
luxury anymore in Tom Brady, right? He's gone. He's retired now. He's gonna be calling play-by-play for Fox this year. So shout out to Tom Brady for doing big things. But as far as Belichick though, he kept that defense relatively good every year, and he didn't spend a lot of money doing it. And they're not known for spending. Well, I think Mayo's got to understand that free agents aren't going to want to come to New England. They never have, except for Randy Moss because he was, he wanted to win a championship and he was older. So that's why Moss went to the Patriots in the first place. But guys aren't going to be just, salivating to come and play in New England, right? No quarterback right now of the future or we've seen so far, and of course, it's New England. It's upstate. No one's. It's too cold. You know how that goes, TJ. So you got to build a foundation running that football. O lineman, pound, ground and pound, pretty much with your D line, O line in the trenches. That's where Mayo is going to establish that dominance and establish a culture. Like Keeping It Real says, establish that culture. What is your identity as a head coach? Is it defense? He's a defensive guy, and it should be his calling card. We're
It's
gonna
true.
find out. But at the end of the day, we seen what your defense can only do so much. The offense at the end has got to find a way to score points, right? Can they do that? We'll
Hmm.
find out. So I think 6 to 8 wins, honestly, is a good year because the roster itself, besides their defense, is not good. It's not good. So
It's not. It's just not good indeed. You're right. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see how they do. Um, remember when they thought they were going to win the Super Bowl when they signed Cam Newton? Remember that was a
hey,
thing.
and look, wasn't that part of the was that COVID year where it wasn't a lot of did he play in the COVID year where it
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah. It was the
yeah.
year
So that
after.
that was that was tough in my opinion for any team. Yes, the Buccaneers want to win it all. Freaking Buccaneers, I hate them, man. Anyways, they want to win it in the COVID year, but that was just a weird year for everybody. So and let's not get it twisted. Cam started off that year pretty good. I think he they started like 2-1, I believe, that year, the first 3 games, and then it kind
Yeah,
of
he
it,
looked
it
good.
kind of slid. But yeah, but then it kind of slid because I didn't think Cam was going to be their savior after Tom Brady, anyways. I'm like, it's still Cam Newton, and he's a little bit older now, and we saw why he wasn't in Carolina anymore because of the way he played. So, but albeit the year started off pretty good for New England, it just fell flat towards the end. But that's for a lot
Yeah,
of teams. That COVID year was kind of weird for everybody.
yeah. No, well, Tom Brady won the Super Bowl again. That's how weird it got.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, boy. Talk about luck. I'm not even. Let me be quiet. Let me be quiet. That
Not gonna
that
set you
that
off.
was a. Oh my God! Everything went his freaking way that year, bro. Everything went his way, man. Oh my goodness, it's just, and they beat my Saints to get. Oh, it was, man, that sucked. That sucked, bro. It sucked. He kicked my man Drew Brees out, man. Drew Brees retired. Oh, it was bad.
That was a hard game. That was a hard game.
My man went to the tunnel and turned around at last look. I said, TJ,
Hmm.
he ain't coming back, bro. Don't know.
Yeah,
That's a storybook look at the end. At the end of the movie, is like the shining moment of glory. I'm like, oh, this dude ain't coming back. He just gave us
it was
those.
always that. Is it? Is it? Is it? And the moment his head turned, you were like, ah,
I
there's
was
the
like,
moment.
why? No. Please tell me you look for your wife and your kids. So I was bad about that. Hey, appreciate it. Keeping it real. Who has sports podcast? Dawg says love the new look overlay, bro. Yes, sir. It's all, of course, to my main man TJ Trace for making this happen. Yes, sir.
No worries, happy to help.
But as far as the Patriots go, though, look, there are no great expectations for this team at all. So that's why I'm saying, hey, 6 wins sounds pretty good to me. But like we said, got to establish your culture, your identity first. Is this going to be on defense? Because look, on paper, they have no receivers yet again. If Juju is your quote unquote best receiver, then you got problems.
Yeah, you do. You really do.
Let's go in another direction now. Let's talk the NFC. A lot of NFC talk going on, but compared to the AFC, the NFC is the little brother over the last couple of years now, and that's understandably so. A lot of teams, a lot of wishy-washy teams in the NFC, but that means a lot of new hope, a lot of new chance. But which NFC team is most desperate to have a breakout year? When I say desperate, which team needs to have a breakout year, and explain what a breakout year looks like for that particular team?
Now, I was struggling with this because you got all the NFC teams that are like everyone's just knows, like the Panthers. Well, I immediately went, oh, the Panthers. You need to see if Bryce Young's any decent. And I was sort of like, I don't think they're expecting to because new first year head coach, like you've got all that, you've got uncertainty. I was like, okay,
Right.
that was that. And then I was like, maybe they're thinking about. I was thinking maybe the Cowboys, but the Cowboys always perform well in the offseason but fell in the preseason. Obviously, they've got a lot of question marks at the time. So, like, could you really class it as a breakout when you get those question marks answered in the regular season, but then really shined upon in the postseason? So I then settled. I think I settled on the Saints.
Mm.
I after all that, I was like, okay, so we need can't have a team that's sort of a problem, but still has those many question marks. So I went with the Saints because you're middle of the pack last year,
Yeah.
so you couldn't really get a new QB, so you're stuck with Carr anyway. People are shocked you still managed to keep your head coach after the performance last year. So this year, you either explode and do extremely well with Carr and your new wide receivers, Ola, Chris Olave. Kamara's obviously coming to the end of his tenure. So you're going to hopefully explode there and bounce back and either win the division and make the playoffs. Otherwise, it's you're going to blow everything up.
Yeah.
Like you can't be middle of the pack next year, otherwise you're screwed for at least 2 more years. So I went with the Saints because you need to either show that something's working to keep the coach to maybe not get rid of Carr, but no, he's at least got something safe. You know, I don't think he is personally. Or you want to completely suck so you can get a high draft pick. And obviously, being an organization, you want to blow up. You want to have a good season. So that's who I went with. I'm going to go with the Saints to actually win the division in a very weak division. Like at one point, all of the head coaches were on the hot seat.
Yeah, yeah, facts, facts. Yo,
Yeah.
it is crazy because I was also thinking New Orleans as well, but I was like, wait, I'm a Saints fan, so I don't want to sound like that. But then I thought to myself, if I don't pick the Saints, who else do I think is very desperate
Mm.
to have a breakout year? And I said the Falcons. Atlanta.
Oh,
You know,
good.
yeah, and so I went with Atlanta. Don't get it twisted. It was Atlanta and New Orleans, 1A, 1B. But I was like, I'm glad you went with New Orleans. So now I don't feel as bad for not saying New Orleans now because I feel like, yeah, they're also desperate for a good year this year as well. They need that. Atlanta needs it probably worse than New Orleans now because one, the signing of Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
And when you sign Kirk Cousins and that all that money he got, that's a lot of money. We talk about what 180 million and 100 million guaranteed. Say
Yeah.
what you want about Derek Carr's contract, it's not Kirk Cousins' contract. you know, and Atlanta with the offensive power they had, and then with them going rounds 2 through 7, all defense because they went round one with another another offensive player in their quarterback and Michael Penix Jr. So I think they're desperate. A breakout year, win the division. Win the division, no matter how crappy it is, and let's not forget about Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They won it last year. They've won it now, what, 2 years in a row. So we can't just cross out the Buccaneers of not being a good team. I did that last year and I regretted it big time. I had them for 4 wins and they won the division. So you know, I'm not gonna sneeze on them like I did last year. But anyways, I think Atlanta, Kirk Cousins, that move right there with those young players on offense, that is screaming. We think we have a chance to make a playoff run. Now you better show us now Kirk Cousins, via injury, this team should win 10 games. Should win 10 games. I think with the offensive power they have and the division they're in. When you face Carolina twice, New Orleans twice, and you face the Buccaneers twice, those are winnable games within your division. Easier said than done because it's still division, and the NFC South has never been an easy division to pick the winner outside of the Drew Brees days. So
Yeah.
I want to say Atlanta is very desperate this year. I think the fan base wants it. I think the general public thinks they're gonna win the division. Oh, my brother says Michael Penix Jr. went to Atlanta. He did, Darius. He
He did.
did. He did. Number
Oh,
8 overall, man. And it was somewhat of a crazy pick for most people. I think it was actually a good pick in my honest opinion. I think it was a good pick because you pick it for the future. And I think, after Kirk Cousins is done, you got to have your quarterback of the future for the next 10 plus years. I think hopefully if he stays healthy and everything's good. So I like the pick. Do I love it? I didn't love it, but I do like it and
no one
understand
liked
it.
it.
And so guys like TJ did not like it at all, including Kirk
Ah,
Cousins.
yeah.
Kirk
I
Cousins,
was.
he basically said, if basically Kirk Cousins says, if they would have told me about the plan before I signed with them, I would not be a Falcon. That is basically what he said. That's basically he said it without saying it. He was like basically, he gave the old white collar answer. I'm not worried about that now. I'm just here to, it is what it is. It happened. I'm gonna go and play this, be the quarterback, whatever. He was like, if they would have told me the plan, I would have said hell no to being a Falcon. That's what he was saying. Oh yeah, and you could tell it. He said, "Hey, I like that for him. Yeah, I like Michael Penix, and I thought he deserved to be a top 10 draftee. I just thought the way the draft's going to play out, he might have been mid to late first round. But kudos to Michael Penix. You can't hate him for that. That's on the Falcons, and Falcons fans are kind of going out their minds right now. But Falcons need to have this because you bought in Kirk Cousins for that reason only. He is by far the best quarterback in the division, right? And that's a division with Bryce Young, Derek Carr, and Baker Mayfield. So I think he's by far the
Mhm.
best quarterback. Him and Derek Carr might be, 1 and 2. Then Baker at 3, and then of course you have Young at 32. There's even with 100 million guaranteed. Well, yeah, there's, but he was getting that money somewhere else. Anybody else would have paid him the same thing too. I promise you. So it
Mhm.
wasn't. It wasn't about the location. It was about. I mean, it wasn't about the money. It was about the location. And he was going to get that 100 million guaranteed because NFL teams are just stupid these days. So, Kirk Cousins won only one playoff game his whole entire career, and somehow he keeps getting money. And Dak Prescott is not far behind, getting some money next year from somebody. And I think Dallas will pay him 60 million per year. You know, so we'll see. Samuel says, "Hi everyone, what's up, Samuel? Good to see you, man." But yeah, so as
Samuel.
NFC teams desperate, you have New Orleans, which I completely agree with as well. New Orleans have got to get their stuff together too, because I do feel like if they don't make playoffs this year, they're done. They're like, as far as head coach, as far as your older players, they're done. Dennis Allen's going to be gone. He's not part of that Sean Payton tree anymore. So a lot of those players who had the bond of being with Dennis Allen and Sean Payton, the Cam Jordans of the world, right? Types like those guys might be gone next year if they don't really come out
Is
and
this?
establish a good playoff rhythm.
I am right in thinking this is Kamara's last year, right?
Right now, Kamara's sitting out because he wants a new deal.
Ooh, I
As
didn't know that.
as far as now Dennis Allen is trying to shoo it. He says Kamara is a new father and he wants to spend time at home with his family. Yada yada yada.
I got it.
Yeah. We know how that goes. So but Kamara is looking for a new deal. He wants a 2-year deal, probably worth about 18 to 22 million, total. So, and I think the Saints should do it with the new offensive coordinator Kubiak, who is a quote unquote a genius at the offensive mind aspect of the NFL. So if you can add Kamara, who still got the juice, it's just the fact that our play caller was just trash. Thanks to Pete Carmichael, and hopefully we have a new juice in our system, and we'll see what goes on. But you're right though, Atlanta, New Orleans, two teams very desperate. They need to have a breakout year this year. So we will find out, man.
See, no offense, like I don't. Your OC, he might be an offensive genius, but the last time I heard a head coach or a coach get called an offensive genius, it was Adam Gates. I don't know how that went.
Yeah, but Adam Gase, he had quarterbacks that made him look good.
No, I get that,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
like the Jets ownership was calling him
Yeah,
offensive genius.
yeah. But I don't know why, because like he was coaching Peyton Manning and stuff. Like, how much of a genius can you be to coach Peyton Manning in his prime, right? I
I
mean, Peyton Manning is arguably a top 3 quarterback, a top 5 quarterback of all time. So I mean, yeah, you're
You
not
know,
gonna.
you know he sucks when he went from NFL head coach to an offensive coordinator of a high school team.
That's how it be sometimes, man. He can smoke all the acid he can get now, or whatever. Everyone knows the infamous interview. He had
Yeah,
my man was
it was
bugged out.
definitely on something. He was
He
on
was
something.
on something. I don't know what it was, but it's something that I don't want to have unless I'm going, you know, unless I got a headache or something bad. I got to be like down bad sick to be on what he was on. Jesus. All right, everyone's favorite part of the day. It is TJ's Eagles talk. So right after this messages, we'll talk with TJ. All right, fly Eagles fly. TJ's Eagles
Let's
talk. What's going
go.
on with those Philadelphia Eagles right now, brother?
Well, we're all relaxing. We're all getting ready for the hard season. Fly Eagles fly. It was announced this week that in week 9 of the NFL and week 17, we'll be wearing our lovely Kelly Green jerseys again.
Ooh,
Week 9 against the Jaguars and then week 17 against the Cowboys, which is
ooh.
going to be epic. Yeah, against the Cowboys in one of the last weeks. So that's going to be fun. Devontae Smith hosted his celebrity softball game. A lot of Eagles there, Hurts, Brown, and all that. So they were fun. It allowed the Jalen Hurts to let his hair down, be a little less serious than normal. And apparently, he had some great home runs as well as AJ Brown. I know the media is still going after Hurts, unfortunately, saying he's not a good leader and stuff like that because obviously he's not enthusiastic. Like, because he's just so focused in the game, he's just drilled in
Mhm.
to the point where like even Brendan Graham had to come out and go, that's just not him. Like, yeah, you see this one aspect where he's so focused on the field, but in the tunnel, during meetings. Like, he can get the team ready just because he's not constant high energy. Let's do this, but that's not kind of leader. And if you're demanding someone change because it doesn't fit your view, change as a leader because it doesn't fit your view as a leader, then he's going to fail at it. So that sucks. One of our wide receivers has unfortunately decided not to play football. He's decided to compete in the Olympics in racing. Brendan Allen holds the record. I think he was the third fastest man in hurdles last year, so he's decided to go for the Olympics. Don't blame him. I know it's not a lot of money in the Olympics, but
Mhm.
he's a 30-year-old wide receiver. I don't think he was going to make the cut. So I understand him focusing on trying to go for gold. But yeah, I think that's most of it. Obviously, we will. I think our veterans, our rookies, start up next week, so it's going to be good to see them with Q and Cooper Tagine. I can't believe we've got both of them still coming, and seeing how the depth charts start to reveal. Like, is Isaiah Rogers going to be QB2? Is Kilo Ringo going to be QB2? Not QB, CB2? Or is it going to be Q going to be CB2? So, because Slay's clearly CB1. James